When you install your ACT 2006 software, you'll notice that one of the options is to display an icon on the desktop. And if you chose that, then you can just simply double click on the ACT 2006 icon on your desktop. If not, then wherever you put it, then you'll have to drill through your programs to find where you put the software. So what I'm going to do is just double click on the ACT 2006 icon, and you'll see that ACT will spring to life and begin to load. And the first thing that it's going to do when it loads is it is going to give me the opportunity, and in fact the requirement, to log on to a database. Now, the database that we're going to use together is going to be the ACT8 demo database. Now, the reason I'm using the ACT8 demo database is because it is a training database that can be used to keep people on the same page. So, if you purchase ACT 2006 software, then you'll have the same database as me. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to log on as Chris Huffman, who is the owner of a fictitious company called Gourmet Gifts. So the name of the company is CH Gourmet Gifts. And that's the database that we're going to be working in together for the rest of this training. And you'll see that there is a place for a password in the logon screen. But Chris doesn't have a password right now. We're going to talk about assigning passwords and about how we can secure the ACT database later on. But right now he doesn't have a password, so we're just going to click on OK. And you'll see that ACT will start up. And once it's started, then we will be in the database. Now, notice that we are on Chris Huffman. This is called the My Record field. The reason that we have a My Record field, I mean, you would think that Chris would know who he is, right? He's the owner of the company, and he logged in, so he should know who he is, and he's probably not going to have to make an appointment to talk to himself, right? So what would we need a My Record field for? Well, it's so that any correspondence that Chris wants to have with another company, that information, his address and telephone number to create, for example, a fax cover page, would be taken from this information. In other words, return addresses on letters, fax cover pages, telephone numbers, that kind of thing would be taken from the My Record field. So we're on the My Record field for Chris Huffman. Where else could we determine that we are not really at the beginning or the end of the database? Well, if we look over here, it says 30 of 132. Well, that's because they're in alphabetical order by last name. And Huffman just happens to fall 30th of 132 total contacts that are in this database. So the main thing that I want you to see from this is, number one, how we get into the software, just simply by clicking on ACT and allowing it to load. But also that by default, when we come into the software, we will be on the what's called My Record field. And you'll see that My Record field come up later on. We'll take a closer look at some of the things in the menu bar, and we'll see that the My Record field will come up. And when I say menu bar, you may or may not know what I'm talking about. Well, that's what we're going to do next. In our next section, we're going to take a closer look at all of the pieces of the database so that we are working with the same terminology as we go through this training together. So, terminology and all of the parts of the database is next.